The dark side of Rome at its height. Rome ruled millions of people across one of the greatest empires the world had ever seen. But behind its magnificent temples and powerful armies existed a system of punishment designed to inspire absolute fear. For those convicted of serious crimes, punishment was not always intended simply to remove them from society. It could become a carefully staged spectacle, sending a terrifying message to everyone who witnessed what happened. And some Roman punishments were far more brutal, humiliating, and terrifying than most people today could ever imagine. Your status could decide your fate. Roman justice was harsh, but it was not equal. Your social status could dramatically change the punishment you received. Wealthy citizens and members of the elite often possessed legal protections unavailable to slaves in societies. Lowest classes, slaves, prisoners, and people without powerful connections could face punishments that were deliberately painful and deeply humiliating. Roman prisons were generally places of confinement, where prisoners might wait for trial, sentencing, or their eventual punishment. For a condemned prisoner, the terrifying uncertainty of what came next could become punishment long before the sentence began. Once judgment was delivered, however, Rome possessed many ways to transform punishment into a warning for everyone watching. Whipping and public humiliation. Among Rome's most common physical punishments was whipping, used against slaves, criminals, and others considered socially inferior. The purpose was not merely physical pain. Such punishment could publicly demonstrate the victim's powerlessness before Roman authority. When punishment occurred publicly, every spectator understood the message. Challenge Roman order, and consequences could become painfully visible. Enslaved people were especially vulnerable, because Roman law gave masters enormous control over those legally classified as property. Humiliation could matter almost as much as pain, stripping the condemned of dignity before an entire watching community. The suffering of one person, therefore, became a warning aimed at hundreds, sometimes thousands, who witnessed the punishment. Yet whipping and humiliation were only the beginning. Some Roman sentences could condemn people to years of exhausting labor. Forced labor and the MINES. Some convicted people were sentenced to forced labor, including brutal work in mines, quarries, and other dangerous environments. Those sent into mines could face darkness, exhaustion, dangerous conditions, and relentless work far from ordinary Roman life. Day after day, prisoners performed exhausting physical labor under supervision, public humiliation after Spartacus's revolt was crushed. Ancient sources report thousands of captured rebels were crucified along the Appian Way. Anyone traveling that road would have understood Rome's message. Rebellion against its authority could bring an unimaginably severe consequence. Rome did not hide its harshest punishments. Their visibility was precisely what made them powerful instruments of intimidation and control. Why was Roman punishment so brutal? At its height, Rome governed millions of people across enormous territories, stretching from Britain to North Africa and the East. Maintaining order across such a vast society required more than soldiers. Roman authorities also depended upon law, hierarchy, and deterrence. Public punishment transformed an individual sentence into a warning, allowing fear of consequences to spread throughout the wider population. Roman punishment also reflected social hierarchy, because citizenship, wealth, freedom, and legal status could dramatically influence one's fate. In the amphitheater, punishment could merge with spectacle, placing Roman power before thousands of spectators in an unforgettable public display. Behind Rome's magnificent roads, temples, and monuments existed a society where punishment could be deliberately harsh, unequal, and deeply public. Rome conquered much of the ancient world with its armies, but fear was another weapon that helped maintain its power.